So it's your boy, Let Us Pray. I hope you're having a blessed and prosperous day, Bay Area fans. I'm not here to antagonize you. I'm not here to make fun of you. Matter of fact, I've been in your shoes. I know what it feels like to be the loser of the Super Bowl. A fan of the losing Super Bowl team, I should say. It doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good at all. Matter of fact, it feels like crap. You may not even feel like going into work today. I can only speak for myself. I personally didn't talk any crap to anybody when my Falcons were going to the Super Bowl. I tried to stay humble, stay very humble, kept my head down, didn't make any predictions, didn't know what the outcome was going to be. I was just happy my team was there, and I was hoping we were going to do it. My hopes, my dreams of seeing the Atlanta Falcons win the Super Bowl were dashed. They were broken, stomped on, ran over, backed up, ran over again, and then ran over one more time by Tom Brady and by Bill Belichick. And the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl, everybody knows, 28-3. Everybody knows what happened after that. I was sick, y'all. I was sick for a minute. Who did I blame that Super Bowl on? Who would I blame that loss on? That loss was on none other than Kyle Shanahan. The genius, the offensive wizard. The man who probably had the highest scoring season point per game for an offensive coordinator in Atlanta Falcons history. Fact check me on that, but we had a great offense, man. We were rolling. We steamrolled through the playoffs. We blew out the Packers. Does it sound familiar? We blew out the Packers in the NFC Championship game. We looked like we were going to be unstoppable. We looked like we're just going to waltz in there, do our thing, do what we've been doing all season. Take it to the Patriots and hoist that Lombardi trophy. And we did that for 3 quarters. Then the fourth quarter came. Fourth quarter came, and Kyle Shanahan lost his ever-loving mind. He lost his mind, y'all. And I can only attribute this to one phrase that I've heard for probably about half of my life. This phrase is pressure bursts pipes. Everybody can't handle the pressure in a pressurized situation. That goes for players. That goes for coaches. Everybody can't handle pressure in a pressure situation. Some people fold. Some people, the palms get sweaty. You know, the moment's too big. You hear that all the time. The moment's too big. Is Kyle Shanahan one of those coaches where when the game is close, when the game is tight, he just cannot handle the pressure? This is his second Super Bowl where he's been the offensive coordinator, he's been the play caller, and it seems like the game was lost on his shoulders. 49ers came in with just an explosive and dynamic running attack. They were gashing teams left and right, up the middle, you name it. Jimmy Garrapolo only threw the ball. I don't think he threw the ball more than 25 times in the playoffs before yesterday. He wasn't asked to do much except for turn around, hand that ball off to Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert been on fire. Questionable why Raheem Mostert didn't start the game, first of all. Why wasn't Raheem Mostert the starter in yesterday's game after he came off a 4-touchdown performance against the Green Bay Packers? What's that about? Tevin Coleman, what has he proved to get that start over Mostert when Mostert has just been setting the house on fire for the whole second half of the season? Not to mention having a historic game the last game before the Super Bowl. That's the first mistake Kyle Shanahan made. See, his ego. It's his ego that gets him in trouble. It's his ego that got him in trouble in Atlanta. Losing that Super Bowl, trying to run up the score on the Patriots instead of taking the dub, running the clock out. So he tried to get tricky, put Coleman in the game. Coleman, he had a couple of nice, a couple of little nice runs there. But Mostert comes in, changes the pace. 49ers get jump started. They start going up and down the field on the Kansas City Chiefs defense. The Kansas City Chiefs get off to somewhat of a slow start. Jimmy Garoppolo looked shaky at best. Anytime he was called upon in known passing downs, he looked very shaky out there, man. Any pressure in his face, he's just throwing the ball up. I don't know if his windup is too long, if it takes too long for him to get rid of the ball or what, but by the time he was throwing that ball, man, those defenders were on him, and that ball just was fluttering like a lame duck all night. But let's go back to Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan, seems like a lot of fans, a lot of 49er fans, a lot of analysts are blaming Kyle Shanahan for this loss. And I somewhat agree with that. What can he do going forward to rectify some of these wrongs, to exercise, some of these, what they would call football demons that are haunting him now? Was he remembering what happened in the Super Bowl against the Patriots as he was coaching yesterday? Did he have flashbacks of calling the pass play that got Matt Ryan sacked when he should have called the run play on the 30-yard line with 2 minutes to go in the game? Game in hand, best field goal kicker in the game, Matt Bryant, that season. Was he remembering those moments yesterday? I say yes. I say Kyle Shanahan, he loves his toys. You got Kittle, you got Debo, you got Mostert, you got Coleman, you got Emmanuel Sanders. You got a lot of toys out there to play with, Shanahan. But when the pressure comes, when the game gets tight, the game's on the line, all those toys don't matter if you don't know how to use them in the clutch. I'm not reveling in the misery of 49er fans. Like I say, I feel for you. I've been in the same situation. I've had the same coach that you had. So I understand how you guys are feeling. My thoughts go out to you. My heart go out to you. It's not a good feeling, man. But, this is another lesson learned for young Shanahan. Remains to be seen if this is going to make him or break him. It's either going to make him stronger or either he's going to break under the pressure. Either you guys are going to go on a tear. He's going to learn from those mistakes. You guys are going to go to the Super Bowl in the next 2-3 years, and all will be forgiven, or he's just going to fade into this guy that woulda, coulda, shoulda, and he's just going to be one of those guys that you kind of forget about. A couple good seasons as an offensive coordinator, as a coach, but couldn't get it done in the clutch. Kyle Shanahan, man. The only good part about yesterday was I feel like the Atlanta Falcons are now vindicated. I saw a quote this morning on ESPN calling him Mr. 28-3, which takes the monkey off of the Atlanta Falcons' back and solely puts it on Shanahan's back. So now he got that monkey. I feel like the monkey's off our back. Now we can go win the Super Bowl next season. You hear it here first. Atlanta Falcons win the Super Bowl next year. Let's get it. I'm that confident. We got the players. You saw what we did the last half of the season, man. We beat the 49ers. Matter of fact, we were the last team to beat the 49ers before yesterday. I wore my Falcon stuff on Friday because I was predicting this game, how it would go. I predicted the 49ers would jump out to the lead, and the Kansas City Chiefs would reel them in that last quarter. It happened exactly like that yesterday. So I think Atlanta Falcons, man, I think we got a good shot. I don't want to make this video about the Falcons, but great game yesterday. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. The game was definitely won on the arm and the legs of Patrick Mahomes. I knew if the Chiefs were going to win, he was going to be the MVP because the game was going to be on his shoulders to get the job done. Damian Williams, great game by Damian Williams as well. The other guys are pretty quiet. Kelsey had some nice catches in there. Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill had some nice catches. They were patient. Chiefs were patient. They took what the defense was giving them. When they needed that one big play, actually, excuse me, two big plays. Sammy Watkins had a big play against Richard Sherman. Tyreek Hill had a big play against Mosley. So, you know, they made the plays when they needed to. 2 interceptions by Mahomes, very uncharacteristic of him. But he was able to bounce back and sling that rock, make things happen. So it was a very entertaining game to watch. Very entertaining game to watch. Kyle Shanahan, though, ends up being the GOAT in this one. Scapegoat, whatever you want to call him. All the pressure's going to be on him. He's going to hear about it all off season, just like he did 3 years ago. I'm going to hear about it. Now the players are going to have that cloud over their head, know what that feels like. All the fans are going to have to deal with all that bubble gut syndrome, broken heart, all that, man. I've been there. It's a horrible feeling. Man, it's a horrible feeling. I mean, you're that close, or when you're that close, man, that close, man. And then it seemed like, you know, they snatch your heart out. You're holding, seems like the trophy is right in your hand, like right here, and it just gets snatched away. I know what it feels like. So my thoughts and prayers out to all those guys who think football is their whole life. Football is their religion. They take football way too seriously. You're probably upset. Maybe some of y'all didn't even go to work today because you've been talking crap for the last 3 months, and you've been bragging and you've been boasting. You've been talking about how your boys are gonna do this, nobody can stop you, it's gonna be a blowout, and all this type of stuff. And ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So that's why you gotta be humble, man. You gotta stay humble as a fan. It's okay to, you know, talk some trash and all that, but don't get beside yourself, 49er fans. There was a guy that came in to the DMV about a month ago. He talked so much nonsense. That was the point where I said, you know what, I don't want the 49ers to win, because he was just so reckless in his talking. You would think the 49ers have been a perennial Super Bowl contender for the past 20 seasons. I mean, you had a lot of down years. You know, you got one good year and you lose your mind. Talking nonsense. So it's good to stay humble, man. You don't want to get too high. You definitely don't want to get too low either. You know, just enjoy it for what it is. It's entertainment. But like I said, great game. Halftime show left something to be desired. Personally, I didn't really care for it. Commercials left something to be desired. The creativity on some of these commercials is non-existent. The best commercial was honestly the one with the kids, the blonde dude with the mohawk. I enjoyed that commercial more than all the rest of them. So I enjoyed my time. Went to spend time with the big homie and his family, watching the Super Bowl there. Great time. He was rooting for the Chiefs as I was, and his wife was rooting for the 49ers. So, you know, sorry it had to end that way, but you know, Chiefs prevail. They're world champions. Patrick Mahomes is going to Disney World. Andy Reid's going to get his big double cheeseburger. And and the season is now over. Now we turn to the NFL draft. It's going to be coming up in a couple months. So hope you guys are having a blessed and prosperous Monday, man. Take care. Be blessed. Speak greatness into your life, man. And also remember, like I stated earlier, man, it's just football. It's just fun and games. It's entertainment. Yes, we get wrapped up in wanting our teams to win, but in the end, man, unless you bet money on this and you lost money, it's just a game. It's just a game. So we have fun with it, with the sports commentary, because sports is something that can entertain us. Sometimes can be uplifting, and you know, sometimes it hurts though. You get disappointed when your team loses, but congrats to the San Francisco 49ers on this year's season. You guys had a great season. You guys had an awesome turnaround from last season to this season. One of the best turnarounds I think in NFL history. So congrats to you and your fans. Much love. I'm out. Peace.